Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to this intro of Coffee and Comics. So today I was supposed to have I asked Jason Doobie. He couldn't make it because both Jason and Frederick could not make it because they're building the mega booth at Sac-Anime, and which is quite fine because they're going to be providing you guys with great comic books to buy and promote and just great things to show you at Sac-Anime. So that's a very understandable reason why. By far, I would tell them, please, you don't need to be on the show because you're making stuff amazing. So don't worry about it. But I did get to have Timothy James on, who works for Scattered Comics, who loves comic books, who is a magician, who has a very vast depth knowledge of being a magician, comic books, writing, different genres of comic books, different companies that he used to like and now likes, all that amazing stuff. Plus, there's a pretty funny story, I think, at the end. So I had Timothy James on. We go through him, where he became a magician, why did he become a magician, and where his love of comic books came from. And also, he basically shows his nerdy side, basically, and he gives all of the links out for his stuff at the end of this show. So, yeah, I'm going to just stop babbling now because no one wants to hear me babble. I can go on forever about just nothing and wouldn't make sense. So, also, I believe Day Zero is today, so if you've not yet made yourself out to the convention center in Sacramento to pick up your badges, they're open now. As I look at my clock, it's 4:13. They're open now. They're open from 4 till 10. And yeah, go get your pre-registered badge if you haven't already registered. You can still get the tickets at the door tomorrow, Saturday, Sunday. I need more caffeine because I can't think. I am sorry. But if you're headed out to Sac-Anime this weekend, I hope to see you there. I hope you have a great time. And I'm going to stop talking now. And you guys have a great night. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to another edition of Coffee and Comics, sponsored by Scattered Comics. So, I have with me today Timothy James.
No coffee.
No coffee. That's the ironic. That's why I call it that, because it's ironic.
I don't actually drink coffee, so it
No,
works out
but
fine.
he has comics.
I do have comics.
See?
Visual number 2.
There you go. Number 2.
Top cow.
Top cow. And we're in a comic book store. So, we're in Empire Comic Books Vault. It is Thursday. And this weekend is Sac-Anime. Are you going to Sac-Anime?
I can't make Sac-Anime, unfortunately. I'm going to be working all weekend, and but I'm hopefully going to make the winter convention. Hoping to go up to ChicoCon. I was really hoping to go to Sac-Anime because it was my first convention that I ever tabled at, and I pretty much go every year. So this is kind of tough for me to miss out on. But,
well, it happens. But now that I have you on here, tell the world what you do, because I know what you do. You should let everyone else know what you do.
Well, let's see. I do a couple of things. I do comics for Scattered Comics right now. I'm doing the new kid-friendly, all-ages book, Comics versus Manga, which is a how-to book that has a little bit of a storyline in it. Mm-hmm. And we're just finishing up the first issue, which is about how to draw heads and faces, but it also introduces the main characters and talks about why there is a clash between the manga group and the comic group at this particular school, and all the shenanigans and goings on. So Every issue is going to have a little bit more of the story that's
Right.
going to unfold, and there's a lot of really interesting, colorful characters that we get to know along the way while we learn how to draw comics and manga.
What is not better than that?
You can
Because-
basically choose what you like better, comics
Right.
or manga.
Well, manga is more out there, and comic books are kind of like, I think, because I've read both, and manga to me seems like more out there, more realistic. Like,
Well, it's interesting
such-
because one has influenced the other so much.
Right.
I used to read nothing but DC and Marvel comics. That was what I read.
Right.
And then I got more into reading graphic novels and complete stories. I liked stories, complete stories in like 2 or 3 books rather than
Right.
having
Several
author
issues.
changes and artist changes and then having all these different books and universes. The DC
Right.
universe has gotten so complicated. I can't even, I don't even know how to jump in anymore.
It's
I haven't
almost like
read for so
X-Men.
long. And I think that's what drew me to manga. Was usually it's written by the same person who's
Right.
drawing it, and it's a complete story. It's anywhere between one volume, which will be anywhere from 5 to 6 issues, up to maybe 7 or 8 or a dozen volumes, 200 pages for each volume, and then there are a couple for the younger crowd that'll go on for ages and ages.
Yeah.
Like you got Bleach and Naruto. I think
One
they just.
Piece.
I think One Piece, which is still going. I think they finally finished Bleach recently here.
Yeah.
And I mean, there are like 50 volumes.
Oh yeah,
Something like
I've
that. It's
tried to get.
incredibly huge.
I've seen One Piece the show, and it is amazing.
Yeah.
But I tried to get into One Piece the anime. The anime, get it? No, One Piece the manga, and I saw one, and I'm like, oh, okay, one, and then it just like it was a whole shelf
Yeah.
dedicated to One Piece. I'm like, how long is this thing running?
Yeah, I don't have that much shelf space, but it's nice that it comes in a complete
Right,
book and
right.
everything, because it's serialized monthly in magazines and such. And then over here we get the whole book.
Yeah.
And I just love trade paperbacks because you get the whole story usually.
Yeah.
And I came into comics, into creating comics as a writer. I like the stories,
Right.
and what I really like about comics, especially today, is anything goes. You can put in whatever you like. You can cross different
Platforms.
genres.
Yeah.
You can have whatever. But there's also this interesting balance because in film,
Mhm.
if I make the comparison, in film you don't tell, you show,
Right.
and then in a novel, in prose, you tell without showing. And in a comic book, you're right in the middle. You can show as much as you like. You can tell as much as you like. You can keep back whatever you like. And that's one of the things I really like about writing comics, because I also have a couple of books that I write myself, and I don't have time to work on anymore because I'm working on
Yeah.
Scattered. So,
Yeah. That happens. We do when we get into the stuff that we love. We're thinking, oh, we're gonna just work on this thing, and this thing is what we're gonna get good at. And then when you actually get good at it, people are like, hey, come do this, or hey, come do that, and just like that, kind of just gets more and more and more
Yeah.
and more back over
I'm
here.
I'm perfect for the book we're doing right now because I finally mastered how to draw faces and heads. So.
Well, there you go then.
Because I
That's-
came into it as a writer and not as an artist. Although I used to draw a lot when I was a kid, I pretty much stopped drawing when I got into high school. And it's like, just give me the stories. Just give me the stories. And I had other things I was interested in,
Well,
doing
yeah.
just a little bit more.
Right.
Couldn't find an artist, teacher, drawing teacher that was interested in comics. Everybody said, oh, comics are a waste of time. You should be working on this. Learn how to paint watercolor backgrounds, boats, and things like that. It's like, no, I want to draw people. I want to do comics. I want to tell these crazy stories. Kind of getting us back to the difference
between manga,
and,
right.
and anime, or manga and comics.
Yeah,
But what I really like with both of them, because like I said earlier, one has really influenced the other. Manga, which is basically, for those of you who don't know, and you should if you're watching this podcast, it's
Right.
the Japanese Asian comics. And they have comics for everybody.
Oh, yeah.
They have it for everybody. There's this whole series about a group of bakers baking bread. They turned it into an anime, a 50-episode anime. It's hilarious. Called, I think it's called Yaktake Japan, I think.
Wait, a
it's called.
50 episode about people baking bread.
Yeah, pretty much. And there's bread baking competitions, and you got this. Well, it's quite hilarious.
All right.
But I love the stories, and I love the freedom of being able to write whatever the heck you want, because there are so many comics out there that you can't translate it to film.
No.
you can't translate it to prose necessarily. I mean, you can, but it's not necessarily going to play right. It's just you can do anything that you want in comics and it can work. Pretty much anything works.
That sounds pretty awesome. Now, what else do you do besides that?
Oh, besides comics in general,
right?
Altogether, I'm actually a magician. That's what I do.
Which is amazing.
I knew that was going to be coming up. It's never
because this is the first magician I've had on the show.
Oh, there you go.
And I think that's pretty awesome because I like magic too.
I love magic.
But you are an actual magician, which is awesome.
Get that fun.
Not to mention, you know Justin Willman.
I do know Justin Willman. Was pretty. Anybody who's watched Nerdist, you know right. Justin Willman,
who is amazing as well.
Who is amazing and hilarious, and he's pretty much probably going to be the next late night TV entertainer, talk show guy. In fact, I believe he just started a new talk show that he was actually doing in the back of a comic book shop. He had his own little talk show that he would do on the web, and now it's going to be on. I think it's on Comedy Central.
Oh wow!
I cannot confirm that,
right,
but
don't.
There you go. if I haven't kept my ear to the ground with all the magic stuff lately because I've been so busy working.
Yeah.
So
don't hold us accountable for that.
Yeah, but Justin Willman, great magician, great comic book fan, great. He's one of us. He's the great nerds.
So. Knowing that you're a magician and knowing you love comic books and you write all that stuff, right? What got you into that stuff? Like, what made you?
Boy, I don't know. It's I think. What is the name of that actor, gentlemen? They call it The Revenge of the Nerd. I always. Yeah,
it's
like
classic movie.
Magic is just a great way to put one over on all the cool kids, because I was never the. I mean, look at these biceps. Look at this nose. I was never one of the cool kids. And then I just got into magic. I saw magic on TV, and I thought I could do that. Start practicing card tricks, going to the library, learning all the different coin tricks, card tricks, anything that is in the books and stuff. And I always liked comic books because I had a couple of really cool parents who really encouraged me to read. They said, we don't care if you're reading comic books or whatever you're reading, so long as you're reading, which is a great gift for a kid. It's like, read, which is great.
I'm pretty sure comic books got me to read because I am dyslexic and I couldn't really read an actual novel. So when I picked up comic books, I'm like, I can do this. This I can do because there's pictures and great stories, and it keeps my attention. So.
I just saw a great TED Talk last night. TEDx talk with a magician friend of mine from San Francisco named Jay Alexander, and he did a great mind reading magic trick, and then after that he talked a little bit about how he got into magic and his dyslexia because he's extremely dyslexic, and magic actually helped him to kind of channel his frustration and be able to get over that hurdle and be able to read properly and do all that different stuff.
That's good stuff. So I gotta ask this question because I'm pretty sure you get this question asked all the time.
I'm ready.
But when people ask you what you do and you say, "Oh, I'm a magician," do they go, "Oh, can you pull a rabbit out of your hat?" Kind of like
I get that. Can you pull a rabbit out of your hat? Can you make my wife disappear? What instrument do you play? Those are the questions. These are the questions and stuff.
And on a daily, how many of those questions do you get asked?
Oh man. Especially if I'm doing a show, if I'm out at a gig or somewhere, I will get that one of those questions a dozen times. I get it all the time. I think it doesn't really matter. It used to bug me. It used to bug me.
It would bug me too.
And then it kind of occurred to me, you know what? It doesn't matter what you do for a living.
Right.
There's going to be those questions. It's like. If you're a doctor, it's like, oh, you're a doctor. Really? That's fascinating. Hey, I got this bruise over here. Can you take a look at this? Or, oh, you're a lawyer? Listen, I have this neighbor who's really causing these problems. What do I do? Everybody, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what your job is. It's the cross we all have to bear.
Yeah. So sometimes I ask Ben what he does, and he hasn't answered me yet.
This is Ben over here.
So,
you can't
about what you do.
In general?
Oh, you can hear him there.
I don't do much. I just read comics all day.
See?
That's a great job.
See? Classic deflection. No. So, you just saw magic one day on TV,
Yeah.
and you're just like, listen, this is super awesome. I should do this.
I should be doing this right now. So I started making up my own magic tricks, which drove my parents crazy. God bless them; they were very supportive, and I remember saying, "I want to be a magician when I grow up." You know, like 6
Right,
years old.
right.
I want to be a magician. I want to learn how to do all this stuff, and they're kind of like, "Okay."
Well, that's pretty awesome.
Get me
though.
the magic books. Get me the magic tricks. This was before.
The
I'm
internet.
dating myself here. Yeah, this was before the internet. I had to order everything out of the Johnson Smith Company catalog.
Nice.
Johnson Smith Company. You remember that one?
Yes,
Everything
those-
you ever
yes.
wanted and never knew
Yes.
existed.
Or the JCPenney like Christmas catalog.
Oh,
My
you
gra-
cut
yeah.
your stuff out
Oh.
for Christmas and everything.
My grandparents got that every year, and then before I would visit them on Christmas, they'd throw the book down and like, "What do you want for Christmas?"
My
And I'd
parents would
have
do
to
that.
like,
Clip it out,
yeah,
tape
and
it to a
just-
piece of paper,
yeah, and just like,
present it.
I want all of these, please.
Oh,
Thank you.
man.
I know that was the best time of the year for me.
Legos.
That's good too.
It's Legos.
That was good too. I got an erector set from one of my grandparents once.
I never got an erector set. There was another one. It was called Constructs. You remember
Right.
those?
Yes,
Love
construct.
those. I actually, they're over at my parents' place in their loft. There's a big bin full of them.
I saw they gave me they gave me the drill, and they gave me like this big erector set, and I saw the Ferris wheel, and I'm like, I want to build this, and then my parents just like dumped it. I was like, I don't think you can build the Ferris wheel with this many.
Oh,
So I was like, all right, I'll settle with maybe 3 cars.
there you go.
It was pretty cool. It was pretty good because the drill was like actually felt like a drill, and it reversed and came with extra parts. And it's pretty amazing.
I never put those things together.
Pretty amazing. Yeah. No. Okay. So now, what is your favorite comic books?
Oh, man.
Artists, writers.
Right now, I'm really into the webcomic scene. Probably because I don't have
Right.
I don't have a lot of time. I don't make it out to the comic book store very often. It's easier for me to just sit down, go to DeviantArt, and look around and see all these
It
people
doesn't
that
hurt
work.
your eyes just looking at the computer screen and reading, and then
I kind of gotten used to it just because I'm working on the computer all the time anyways. But yeah, my preference is to have an actual book in my hand.
Right.
I think that's the other reason why I like manga so much was because you would get one book and you're set for a while. Another book, which I happen to have right here,
Oh.
which I ordered off Zinet, and this is actually another webcomic called Sequential Art. I'll let you get a good look
That's-
at that there.
that looks pretty
Yeah,
awesome.
by Philip M. Jackson from England, I believe.
Ooh,
And
the comic book from England.
the guy is hilarious. He's got a very distinctive style of artwork. He's got some really great characters. He does a couple of different things. If you you can find his page on DeviantArt,
Mhm.
Jolly Jack at DeviantArt, or DeviantArt.jollyjack. How's that work? Yeah. And this is another one of my current favorite artists. Also, I discovered on DeviantArt, whose name sadly I can't pronounce.
Sorry, but his
I feel
but
like
his
a
name's
jerk.
right there.
Yeah, his
So-
name is right there. I'm just going to zoom in for
Yeah.
you here.
There you go.
I would give you his DeviantArt name, but I can't pronounce that.
Either.
It's
No.
my own. It's my own fault.
That's right.
I'm not worldly enough. You know.
That's all right. I'm not that worldly either. But I like this art because it I think it kind of blurs the line between manga and actual comic book, though.
Yeah, I think that's what I like about the webcomic stuff
Yeah.
right now. Is it's basically the it's kind of like back in the '80s. The inmates have taken over the asylum,
Yeah.
quite literally, and there's so many talented people
Look.
out there.
Look at this.
Get a good look at some of that.
That's pretty awesome artwork. You don't even need. Sometimes I like non-color. I just like
Yeah.
I just like the art and then the story.
That most of my
Sometime-
work is done grayscale and black and white. I just tone everything. That's actually going to change with this project because right now I'm just doing the line art and we're having
Right.
somebody else color it. I might be taking over coloring. I'm not
Hmm.
sure, just because I have. I did a couple of color images for Comics versus Manga. And he's like, "Wow, you can color. I thought you only did black and white. Maybe you should color too." I was like, "Well."
Well, you know.
So I sent him a test page this morning. We'll see if he likes it or not. But,
do you ever
see if I actually have.
Oh, a test page. Hang
But
on. Yeah.
this, I won't be showing the pages or anything like that. This is, you got to
Yeah.
read the thing. There's some great webcomic previews done by another artist. That's one of the neat things about comics versus manga too. Is it's kind of, even though I'm doing the main story, and Jason's doing the how-to instructional stuff.
Of course.
It's featuring a lot of scattered artists.
Right,
I think
it's a collaboration kind of thing.
I think pretty much every scattered artist is involved with this book in one way or another. There's some web comics that have been posted, some short one-page, one-shot stories.
Nice.
There's some just still images and single pics. If I can find one here. Oh, here we go. This is Natasha, one of the main characters. She's the silent type.
That looks pretty awesome.
That came out pretty good.
Yeah. Did you color that as well?
I drew it, I colored it,
Wow.
I whittled it from a piece of wood, I did the whole thing. So.
Wow. And you say you have a problem with faces?
No, I just learned faces.
Okay, because I was going to say,
I've had more practice
that
with
looks
faces.
like a pretty awesome face right there.
I've been doing the manga the art site for about 7 years now. When I started doing my first comic, Tech Gal, which I needed a deadline, so I had I entered into the scattered. No, not the scattered comic. Excuse me, the Sac-Anime competition. That was my first encounter with Sac-Anime. It's like, hey, there's this convention up in Sacramento. You should go there. Have a manga contest. You should enter a comic because you said you want to do a comic. It's like, yeah, I do. How much time do I have? Oh, I got 4 months. That's enough time. And I had a 30-page script that I had to cut down to 14 pages, which includes the cover.
Right.
So it was a very different story when I finished it. And then after that, I still had more story to tell because I had cut so much material. It's like, I'll do a second issue. And then I still have some leftover material. I have this idea, let's do a third issue, and then a fourth. And I had a trade paperback, and now I'm working on the second volume. That was going to be my goal this year, was to get the second volume done, but now I'm working for Jason, so I have a lot of other things to concentrate on.
But isn't it how awesome it is where you're just like, oh, I'm just going to work on this one, and then that one that you're working on just like expands into like
grows.
2 volumes, and you're just like, wait a minute, I was only going to work on one of these.
It is a monster, yeah, because it was a one-shot story, because the whole idea of doing it was, I was trying to write a novel originally. I was trying to write all these different stories because I just have all these story ideas and just so much stuff to do, and I couldn't finish anything. And the whole idea was, I'm going to finish one thing. If I can finish one story, I can finish any story. So just finish one. So I took just the silliest story I had, Tech Gal, and I'm just going to write it and finish it. And it worked out better as a script than as a prose story, so I wrote a comic book script. And I didn't have an artist to draw it, so it's like, screw it. Draw it myself. Here's a contest. Get it done for that. And then I ended up winning the contest, and I wrote the second issue, and it won the next competition. I think I was the only person entering. No, there were quite a number of people. It was a lot of talent. And since then, I've retired from doing any of the contests. I'm just working on the books. Then I have another book called Select, which has sort of a spin-off called Gray Literature, which was a one-shot story that I did, and I'm probably going to do another one because it was so popular. It was probably my best book. I was very proud of that. But first, comics versus manga, which is going to be coming out 2015, next year. Hopefully, I'm thinking it's going to be at the Winter Convention.
Hey.
I think they're just waiting on me.
Right.
I had a busy year. I got married this year.
Congratulations.
I had about 80 shows this summer I had to do, so it was a busy summer. So now I'm back to work on.
Were you popping in and out like your wedding and then a show? And then...
No, I was very good about that. I stuck to the wedding, and then we took a week off together, and then we went off on our honeymoon. Came back, and then I had to start doing shows. So she didn't see much of me after that, unfortunately.
Did you just like, honey, I'll be right back?
Yep. Oh, I wish I could do that. That is sleight of hand. I don't do any of that fancy smoke and
you just
fire.
Snap your fingers.
Teleporters and portals. And
snap your fingers.
Like
you're like gone, and she's like, I can see you around the corner.
Yeah.
And she's like,
yes.
Really?
Yes.
You're
Puff of
ruining.
smoke. I can see behind the couch.
You were ruining the illusion.
I get that.
Why did you just do that?
I do get that.
All right. Well, congratulations on the wedding.
Thank you.
But now we must go because,
Well,
we've
reader
run out of
says
time.
21 minutes.
Yeah, we've run out of time. So go ahead and plug your stuff. Where can people find you?
You can find me on DeviantArt, timartstudio.deviantart.com, Tim Art Studio.
Mhm.
You can also check out some of my webcomics on my website, which is techgal-industrial.com. Spelt like it sounds. It's not hard. Techgal, TECHGAL-industrial.com. And you can find more information on comics versus manga over at Scattered Comics. And just do a Google search for Scattered Comics and take you right to it. And also, if you have any comic book ideas or if you want a comic book created, go to Scattered Comics again, because that's what Jason does. He creates comic books for people.
Nice.
Guy has a lot of work.
Yeah,
and a lot of people working for him.
He's pretty amazing. He's amazing.
He is a busy bee.
Yes.
So.
And your magician-ish stuff?
My magician-ish stuff, if you have any kind of events coming up, I do a lot of after-dinner entertainment, a lot of cocktail hours, parties, weddings, funerals. I put the fun back in funeral.
Right,
You can find out more about that.
The body's gone.
Gone! I have actually performed at 2 funerals. Not in front of the casket, literally in front of the casket. For
How did those go?
really well, actually.
Were people smiling and laughing?
Yeah, these were fun-loving people. More information about the magic and entertainment stuff and tour dates on Facebook. Just look for Timothy James on Facebook, or go to my website at timothyjamesproductions.com. Get more information there.
That's hilarious.
See you guys on Instagram and Facebook. So.
Magic show and a funeral.
Oh,
okay. You guys, where you can find me. You can find me at Facebook.com/shortnerdyguy, shortnerdyman on the Instagrams, and then shortnerdyguy on the Twitters. I thank you, Timothy James, for coming.
You're very welcome. Glad I made it.
Yes, and I hope you all have a great day, and please read more comic books. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to this intro of Coffee and Comics. So today I was supposed to have I asked Jason Doobie. He couldn't make it because he's both Jason and Frederick could not make it because they are they're building the mega booth at Sac-Anime, and which is quite fine because they're going to be providing you guys with great comic books to buy and promote and just great things to show you at Sac-Anime. So that's a very understandable reason why. By far, I would tell them, please, you don't need to be on the show because you're making stuff amazing. So don't worry about it. But I did get to have Timothy James on, who works for Scattered Comics, who loves comic books, who is a magician, who has a very vast depth knowledge of being a magician, comic books, writing, different genres of comic books, um, different companies that he used to like and now likes, all that amazing stuff. Plus, there's a pretty funny story, I think, at the end. But yeah, so I had Timothy James on. Um, we go through him, where he became a magician, why did he become a magician, and where his love of comic books came from. And also, he's basically shows his nerdy side, basically, and he gives all of the links out for his stuff at the end of this show. So, yeah, I'm gonna just stop babbling now because no one wants to hear me babble. I can go on forever about just nothing and wouldn't make sense. So, also, I believe day zero is today. So if you've not yet made yourself out to the convention center in Sacramento to pick up your badges, they're open now. As I look at my clock, it's 4:13. They're open now. They're open from 4 till 10, and yeah, go get your pre-registered badge if you haven't already registered. You can still get the tickets at the door tomorrow, Saturday, Sunday. I need more caffeine because I can't think. I am sorry. But if you're headed out to Sac-Anime this weekend, I hope to see you there. I hope you have a great time. And I'm going to stop talking now. And you guys have a great night.